Welcome to DRX Advanced Phone Trees and IVR. To manage our IVR, we're going to go to System and go to Location Settings. And we're just looking here for our IVR and phone options. All of your recorded messages live here, and you can click on any of these recordings to hear that recorded message. All of these messages are customizable, meaning you can go ahead and click this trash can to remove a particular recording, and you can drag and drop your own MP3 files in here, or you can click on these stars to record your own. Hitting render, we'll go ahead and have an AI voice read that out to us, and you can pick whatever voice.
Record your own.
And then you can choose to either use this audio or download the audio, download to save later, or re-render for something new. The default phone tree in DRX starts with press 1 for refills, press 2 for prescribers, press 3 to speak to pharmacy staff, and press 4 for hours, location, and fax number. If you'd like another language enabled, go ahead and ask your implementation specialist, and an engineer can enable that for you. In those cases, you'll have both an English and a secondary language tab for your recordings. If you're not using DRX internal phones, then you can go ahead and forward all calls to an outside number. To do that, we're just going to hit turn on transferring. This means that a patient would still call in and hit the DRX IVR and go through their phone options, being told to press 1 for refills, 2 if they're a prescriber, and 3 to speak to pharmacy staff. However, rather than speak to pharmacy staff ringing through to the DRX phone system, instead it would forward off to the second number. If we instead use forwarding, the DRX IVR is skipped entirely, and we just send that call directly on to whatever number we go ahead and plug in here. I've talked about extensions 1, 2, 3, and 4, but DRX can have an unlimited number of extensions. At least, if there's a limit, we have not reached it. What we're doing is under the phone over here on the left-hand side, we're clicking tags, and we can add as many tags as we want. Think of these as your extensions and your endpoints. These tags can have any name you want. You can give them a color to tell them apart, or to stay organized. Each of these specific tags, these extensions, have their own hours. So we might say Monday, we're open from 3:15 a.m. until 4 a.m. And our Tuesday hours might be different. Maybe we're open from 2:45 a.m. to 3:45 a.m. You could have this go ahead and send a text notification. And more importantly, you can extend this an actual extension number. If we were to assign this 45, for instance, when a patient calls, they could press 45 on their keyboard, or keypad rather, and be forwarded to this specific phone tag. Now, we don't need those calls to only be answered in DRX. Say you have an outside phone system used for, say, a DME group, or you wanted an after-hours number to ring through to your cell phone. You could plug that number in here and select to forward calls. That means if a patient were to type 45, they would get sent to this number. They would leave the DRX IVR and be sent to the outside phone tree or phone. You can also choose to have your extension ring to a different tag after a certain specified amount of time. That can be useful for fallbacks if, say, one department is closed but another is still open, or if you wanted to have it forward onto voicemail. Now, voicemail in DRX will come into this voicemail communication tab only if they're called in via the prescriber portal. If voicemails are left on any tags, those will come in via email, and you should email these to, in this case, yourslug at drxapp.com. So here I'm in demo.drxapp.com. I would email to demo at drxapp.com. And of course, we would have to allow messages. Now, each tag can have its own voicemail and ringtone and hold music sound files loaded in. Let's close this tag. You'll always start with at least one tag, and that would be the pharmacy tag. If you wanted to have your own ringtones or hold musics for your default, press 3 to speak to pharmacy staff. This is where you would plug those in. Next piece, how do we decide if you are using the DRX IVR and phone system? How do we decide which computers get which phone calls? We do that with this listening for down below. If I'm just working at the after hours answering service, for instance, I can remove the rest of these tags. So that if a pharmacy call comes in on 3 and 3 rings to just the pharmacy tag, then I'm not going to get that call. Versus if a patient were to press, say, 7, for instance, if I assigned 7 as the extension for this number, it would ring through to me. One workstation can be listening for multiple different endpoints, different tags, different extensions.